Happy New Year. Today is January 1st, 2020, and this is vlog number 2, attempt number 77. I'm just kidding. It's been a couple of attempts, so I can tell you that much because I'm learning more and more about myself, and it's been a while since I've had to either teach a class or record videos and things like that, and I'm actually more aware of how I record videos now and how poorly I enunciate words. It is a miracle that I graduated from elementary, middle, high, and college. A miracle. A miracle. Because I was a lousy student. However, anyway, let me get to this video. And the purpose of this video, this is a continuation of the first vlog. Hopefully I have a little bit more energy than I did last time. I'm a low energy individual. In most cases, I can be fun when I choose to be, but for these vlogs, for the most part, I'm going to keep sort of a even keel, keep it very boring. So be prepared to be bored out of your minds. I'm just kidding. All right, so I've been diagnosed with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. I want to say it was a little bit before September of 2018. I don't know a specific time period or dates or anything like that, or how long it was before I was hospitalized. And I started having symptoms. I was vomiting. I wasn't able to hold any food or fluids, and I was very anxious, but I thought it was kind of normal. I was having joint pain as well as some swelling around my face and around my lips and things like that in particular. September, I went to work. I was a manager and was preparing the office for the day, preparing reports and things like that for my team to be able to hit the ground running to start work. So I got in about an hour and a half before everybody else did. That was just something I did. And this particular day in September, I was sitting at my desk and was just very shaky and couldn't focus. It felt like I was out of my mind. Well, anyway, one of my colleagues came in and asked me, he's like, "Are you okay?" And just came by to say good morning. And I looked at him and must have scared him because I said no. And I honestly don't remember what was said after that, but next thing I knew, I was on my way to the hospital. I drove myself. And this was my first time being hospitalized as an adult. Well, even in my lifetime, besides being born, being hospitalized. So I didn't know what to expect. I just knew what I had in mind, and watching ER and Doogie Howser. I'm dating myself. And watching, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Maybe not that show. But House of Cards. Yeah, it made no sense. But anyway, so I was watching those shows. I had an idea of what was going to happen, and it was all the worst case scenario. And I had in mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to just check out here. This is it. But anyway, I gave my insurance information, got checked into the hospital, was being treated for a lot of different issues. They ran a blood test and everything. I'm sorry, this is September, so I was being treated for dehydration and anxiety. So they took care of that. Gave me fluids. I was in the ER for a couple hours, and then was discharged. I wasn't admitted. So I went on with life and went back to the office. If not the next day, the following week. Went back to work. Thought everything was okay. Thought they gave me a clean bill of health. Which I believe they did. I felt better, but I started having the recurrent symptoms happen month after month after month, until finally in May I was hospitalized for similar symptoms, but it seemed to be worse. And as a matter of fact, I had lost a lot of weight. If I recall correctly, they weighed me then, and my weight was about 147 pounds. To put that into perspective, I am 200 pounds, maybe a biscuit shy of 200 pounds today. I hadn't weighed myself since Monday. And I've had a lot of biscuits since then. Anyway, was in the hospital being treated for that. They were giving me fluids as well as treated me for other things and blood tests and everything. As a matter of fact, I will talk about that specific stay in another video, all the different diagnoses and all that. In particular, but though one night I woke up when I was in my hospital room. I was admitted, and I vomited, but the vomit didn't come out of my mouth or go out elsewhere. It wasn't dispelled. It went back into my lungs, which I did not realize. I thought, if anything, I might have swallowed it. And what happened was I developed something called aspirational pneumonia. It's a very serious case of pneumonia, and it messed me up. Pulse oxygen is supposed to be in the high 90s. Mine dipped down to about 60 something. It was in the basement. And to me, it meant nothing because I didn't have a full understanding of what pneumonia was. I was very ignorant to these things. It was like, okay, you got pneumonia, you're going to treat me for it. You give me medications, I'll be good to go. And they treated me for it. It was probably a period of 10 to 12 days. I'm in the hospital getting, going through all this. Like I said, I will share that in more detail in a later video. But it got better. Things got better. They had me on high oxygen, brought me down to lower oxygen, gave me breathing treatments, medications, and all these things. And I was able to be discharged. Went home, had to have home oxygen. Was home for maybe 2 days, if even that, and had to be readmitted. And I was brought back to the hospital in an ambulance. First time for everything. That was scary. And unfortunately, in this case, unprofessional. And I will also talk about it in another video. So, got to the hospital, being treated by the same doctors. And this time, they wanted to check me for infectious diseases. And I'm like, oh boy, what the heck does that even mean? And I started thinking the worst. Heard some nurses speculating as to what in my head. And I'm like, man, don't do that. What are you doing? I don't want to hear that. I'm scared. I'm fearful. By this time, my mom was there, so I had some comfort, as well as then my dad showed up, and same thing, But really, it was they could have said anything to me, and I would have been still out of my mind and fearful, just because of the unknown. So they ran my blood, checked for everything, everything. And then the doctor came in one day, and I'm like, okay. Here we go. She was like, I know what you have. Sir, you have lupus. And I'm like, I have Lucas? And I'm like, no, lupus. And I'm like, I've heard of that. I've know people that have that. They, struggle with it, but I don't fully understand it. And they were like, you have any questions? And I'm like, I don't know what to ask. So, no. And that was that. They walked out of the room. So I'm like, what the heck? It would have been nice, if they would have stayed there maybe for an hour and just shared information with me, but you know how things work in the hospital. That's just not an option. So I did some research. I had my laptop on me, maybe my smartphone. Looked it up and read some more about it. It's an autoimmune disease, and it's genetic. It's not something you can catch, and it's very common in women. And not all that common in men. And I'm like, well, that sucks. All right, what do I do next? I was facing a lot of pain and, still just trying to recover from the pneumonia and wrap my brain around this diagnosis. I shared it with my family, a few friends, a couple of colleagues. And I was reading up on lupus and had some major decisions, life decisions to make at the time, which I'll try to tie into the upcoming videos and how what I chose to do and where I'm at today. So that was huge. It was in some way discouraging, but in a lot of ways it was comforting, because then I knew what was going on, and from there, understanding that they had doctors and specialists that treated this. It wasn't, necessarily something I thought that I would make it past, just because I had no understanding of it. It was something I had to learn along the way, all the different terminology, having all these different labs done, doctor's appointments, all sorts of specialists, and living a new normal. So I'm going to wrap this video up right now and continue on in the next video talking about the other hospitalizations and some of the treatments that I'm having, some of the different doctors I'm seeing, and going to, like I said, I'm going to lead into becoming more organized, as well as have a better understanding of this chronic illness. Other people have different chronic illnesses and diseases. What I hope to do is to be able to give you the resources and the comfort to be able to speak to your doctors on things that you may have never spoken to them about, or keeping track of your symptoms and things to be able to go back to your doctors on your next appointment and have a thoughtful conversation as to what needs to happen next. So anyway, Happy New Year, Happy 2020. I really hope you're getting a lot out of this. I apologize for the greasy face and the poor lighting. Hopefully the sound is good, and y'all treat each other kind. And this is Mr. Ray signing off. I'll never say Mr. Ray again. This is Ray signing off. Man, I suck at this. I really suck. I suck.